Blog Talk Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Lori Smith on Blog Talk Radio. It is Monday, January 25th, 5:30 in the morning, Calgary, Alberta time. I'm just drinking coffee, trying to wake up here. I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope everybody's well. I had a good weekend, kind of restful, and took it easy. And I'm glad to be here. This is one child abuse survivor to another. I do have a guest call-in number. If you'd like to phone in, you're more than welcome, especially topic-related information, or if you had a resource you wanted to add in there and you thought that it was beneficial to listeners, we can look at it and I can let people know. And it's the area code 917-889-3736. And I don't have anything typed up in the chat room this morning. I find that people aren't sitting in the chat room. I might have like one person sitting in there, and I generally read out all of my resources, so I don't think I'm going to bother typing up any more resources in the chat room. I just wanted to go through a few things, just I guess you would call it housekeeping stuff. First of all, I'm just sort of changing the format. I'm going to introduce myself with this every day because I've had a number of people, actually a handful of people, kind of confused about what the show is about, and also confused about the fact that whether I'm a professional counselor or qualified legal advisor, and also, a handful of people kind of telling me how to do my show. And if they want to send me a check so I can pay for this show, then I can certainly throw their ideas in there. But the thing is none of my shows are professional. I am not a qualified professional counselor or legal representative, and I have no professional certificates in those areas. The opinions expressed on my show, when not reading from copywritten material off the website, are my own. And I cannot guarantee the quality or correctness of other websites I use or refer to people. You have to check that out and make that decision for yourself. And do not listen to this show if you are believing it to be a professional show. This is merely a show to raise awareness about child abuse and all child abuse issues, and also domestic violence, human rights abuses, and that is what this show is about. It's to raise awareness, to raise a general voice, to add to all the others out there who are making a difference in this world today. And I'm really happy to stand with them, and I'm happy to add my voice. But I just want people to realize what this show is about, and so that no one's in the dark about it, right? I would hope that people would go back and listen to my first original broadcasts, and because I did do quite a bit of talking about why I'm doing the show. And so I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. Don't listen to this program if you're expecting it to be a professional therapy session, or if you're expecting it to be a professional legal advice or anything like that. I'm just a woman who sits on blogtalkradio.com, who's paying to do this show, because I believe that all of our voices are necessary to stop child abuse, stop domestic violence, stop drug abuse, for people to sort of stop hurting each other, and people that are survivors, adult survivors of child abuse and sexual assault, just domestic violence, the whole thing, can actually know that there's a voice out there. And the only thing I can possibly do for you, and I can't even guarantee any results, would be to get online and help you find information, or to help you try to find phone numbers of who you can call to talk to a professional. So now that we got that out of the way, I really want to talk today. We're actually continuing on with our topic from last week, which was about child sexual abuse. That's what it's called, Little Warriors. That's where I got this information from. And I think sexual abuse, child sexual abuse, is not talked about enough because of the sensitivity of the nature of the material. And people are very uncomfortable talking about it. It's a plague upon society. It has been since day one. It's wrong. It needs to stop. A lot of people don't know it's wrong. I don't know how you could have missed that, but I don't know how people could miss that, right? It's wrong, and it needs to stop. And so I am happy to raise my voice and say we need to start talking about child sexual abuse and get people to understand that it's a plague. It's an epidemic on society here in North America as well as around the world. And anyone who's ever suffered with child sexual abuse would know the damaging, life-altering effects that it causes. And I'm with you, my sisters and my brothers. I think that, it deserves some talk and it deserves some action. And so any time anyone can do anything to prevent and raise awareness of child sexual abuse, more power to them. Today I wanted to read from www.littlewarriors.ca, and this is about child sexual abuse, and it's an actual article right on their website. I just printed it off and I'm reading from it word for word. I like the website. I think it's I don't know how current it is. I can't guarantee the currentness of any website because I'm not in control of those websites. I just like the fact how they laid their website out, and also the information that's on there is quite good as far as I can tell. I'm not a professional, so therefore, that's what I'm saying. It's just my opinion. So you have to check this out for yourself. And what I didn't cover last week, a few things I want to talk about was, on this website was 15 lures of sexual predators. These are lures that sexual predators and abusers rely on, right, to trap and trick young children into getting a hold of them so they can abuse them sexually, right? And this is so if anyone's under the age of 18 or if anyone has any sensitivity towards the topic of child sexual abuse, please don't listen to this show. I don't want anyone to be upset by any topic I bring up. So, I always talk about the topic that I'm going to talk about, and if you are uncomfortable with the topic, please don't listen. And if you're underage, please don't listen without consulting someone, right? This is just an information show. It's not a professional show, and all I do is read from material, that I find that I think listeners can benefit from. But if it's something that bothers you, please don't listen to the show. Okay, so I thought we'd just cover those because it's so important. This is how people trap children, and if we know the signs, if we know the information, and we become educated, then we can watch out for our children, right? I don't have any children, but if I did, I'd want to know what these lures are, because there are all kinds of trickery and things that they use. And I'll just read right from the page. 15 lures of sexual predators. Abusers rely on trickery and deceit to achieve their goals in approaching and seducing their victims. It says, read the 15 commonly used lures to learn more about how you can proactively protect your children. There's the affection lure, assistance lure, authority lure, bribery lure, ego fame lure, emergency lure, fun and games lure, hero lure, job lure, and name recognition lure, and playmate companion lure, pornography lure, threats and fear lure, drug lure, and computer online lure. So see, these are 15 lures, and I don't know if we'll be able to cover them all today, but if we don't, we'll just continue on tomorrow morning, 5:30. The affection lure. Most acts of molestation are committed by a person known and trusted by the child. So this can happen, when in a home, when a caregiver or parent is being affectionate, they can kind of lure the child into molestation. Assistance lure. The methods are unlimited and are meant to entice children away from safety. The offender may pretend to be disabled and in need of a helping hand, which children are usually too willing to offer. So if you have children, you want to make sure that they are aware of this stuff, right? Authority lure. Children are taught to respect and obey adults. The offender takes advantage of that respect and obedience by using their position as coaches, clergy, parents, scout leaders, etc., to intimidate or force children into sexual exploitation or abduction. So that's the authority lure. Maybe parents, people who are in authority, teachers, coaches, scout leaders, people who can intimidate or force children into sexual exploitation or abduction. That's the authority lure. And it's going on, people. It's in the news. It's everywhere. And you do want to know this all you can if you have children, or if you know people who have children. Learn all you can about how to stop and prevent and raise awareness about child sexual abuse. It's so important. Bribery lure. Bribes such as candy, money, and drugs are used to entice or manipulate children into situations and or settings where sexual contact and activity can be initiated. See, so they bribe with things that they know the kid's gonna like. You know what I mean? And especially if it's a young kid who's on the street, who's excuse me, not at home and running around on the streets and stuff. They might lure them with money or drugs because they know that kid's having problems at home. If it's a kid who comes from a home, they might bribe who has a good home, maybe they might bribe them with something like candy. See, this is the issue. You have to be on the aware, if you're a parent, of what people use to, to get a hold of your kids. I mean, this is so terrible, and it does happen all the time. So we do have to really make an effort and really stop this. Ego, fame, lure. Molesters use compliments and offers to fame and fortune to lure children into abuse or abduction. Children may be offered private auditions and told to keep it a secret from their parents, see? They might really just lure them by saying, giving them compliments and offers to fame and fortune, see? And kids don't know any better. Children don't know any better unless they kind of have an idea just because they might have talked about it a little bit. So you do want to let them know, especially when they get to be a certain age and they can actually understand a lot of the stuff you're telling them. Their comprehension level is higher and they understand what you're saying. They'll be on the lookout. Emergency lure. This is used by abductors to confuse or worry the child. The child is then easily manipulated due to their anxiety and fear, see? This is all, we do need to know this stuff. Fun and games lure. Offenders may suggest innocent body contact games, such as tickling or wrestling, or facilitate sexual contact. So there's all that. Hero lure. Molesters may abuse a child's adoration for them, using it to molest and or abduct them. So, someone who represents themselves as a hero to a child, right, and becomes that child's hero and then take advantage of them. Job lure. The offer of a short-term job or errand may be used to molest or abduct a child. Adolescents and even college students may be attracted by promises of high-paying or interesting jobs, and that's in the paper too, right? Name recognition lure. Marking clothes and other belongings with the child's name enables the offender to call the child by name, creating a false sense of familiarity and security. See, because then the child thinks, oh yeah, this person knows me. It's very, very serious, and we really need to become aware of what's going on out there. There's a lot of websites out there that offer parental, advice from professional people who offer parents tips on how and what to do and how to prepare yourself and your child to help them to not become a victim of child sexual abuse. I really recommend it. Playmate companion lure. The victim may be encouraged or coerced by the offender to usher other children into an abusive setting. So we know this can happen, right? Pornography lure. Many child molesters routinely expose their intended victims to pornography, thus normalizing sexual activity and setting the stage for seduction. And threats and fear lure. Molesters may blackmail or threaten children into cooperation or silence. They may even confront the child with an actual weapon. So, for instance, they just said here, example, get in the car or I'll shoot you, right? Blackmail or threaten children. And that's just terrible, and we hear about all these stories, and we know they're true, of people who, run around kidnapping children in their cars and stuff. And this is happening day in and day out. I actually had quite a few instances where people tried to walk off with me when I was little, and because I was always quite unattended. And I was very blessed to have people around me who saved me every single time. And I can't tell you how important it is to watch out for your kids. Drug lure. Molesters will often use drugs, especially alcohol, to incapacitate or seduce children. The lure of drugs is often used in conjunction with pornography. And computer online lure. Some molesters are actually logging on to the internet to chat with thousands of children, ultimately luring some into dangerous situations. So we know this stuff can happen. If you're a victim of this, I just stand with you, and I just say, please keep out, get professional help. We got about a minute left. You want to keep reaching out, get help, don't suffer in silence, and realize that you're not alone. It's so sad. There's so much good information and resources out there. Get a hold of me if you need some. They're my opinion, but of course, that's all I can offer. Just make sure that you reach out and get some help. And, don't suffer in silence. Silence is the problem with everything. We do need to raise our voices and get some help and everything else, and talk to the professionals. And I wish you a good day. I'll be back on tomorrow 5:30, and I'll be back on tonight actually at 9:30, and then again tomorrow morning at 5:30. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.